Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Impact Talk series, the show where we dive deep into the remarkable initiatives driving positive change in India and beyond. I'm your host, Gunjan, and I'm thrilled to be your guide on this journey. Today, we have the privilege of hosting a true luminary in the realm of corporate social responsibility, Mr. Avilash Dwivedi, Head-CSR at Mahindra and Mahindra Ltd, Automotive and Farm Sector. His journey and contributions in the field of CSR are nothing short of inspiring, and today we have the unique opportunity to delve into his experiences, insights, and the transformative power of CSR. As a dedicated CSR and sustainability professional, Mr. Dwivedi oversees the CSR function for Mahindra and Mahindra Limited, automotive and farm equipment business across India. He is a certified CII Sustainability Award assessor, a social accountability auditor, and a practitioner of international sustainability standards, including IFC, which is International Finance Corporation Performance Standards, and GRI frameworks. Mr. Avilash's extensive experiences encompasses grassroots engagement, research, grant-making partnerships, and stakeholder collaboration with civil societies and global corporations in the mining, metal, power, and construction sectors. A former gentleman cadet of Indian Military Academy in Dehradun, Mr. Dwivedi is deeply committed to mentoring young talent and fostering leadership qualities. In addition to his personal responsibilities, Mr. Dwivedi actively contributes to several esteemed civil societies and institutions within the social domain. He has served a jury member and assessor for national level CSR awards. His personal passions include playing the keyboard, writing poetry, and mentoring youth to become future leaders. Recognized by the government of Rajasthan, Mr. Avilash has made significant contributions to public private partnerships in sanitation and literacy in the Chittorgarh district of Rajasthan. Going beyond, sir, I'll move to the next question. As a key leader at Mahindra, working on India's CSR initiatives, you have spearheaded efforts to tackle social and environmental challenges, including endeavors in sustainable development, education, skill development, and women's empowerment. We are eager to understand the motivations that propelled you into this journey and overarching vision that guides your initiative.
First of all, very thanks to CSR Box for giving this opportunity. I take it as a privilege. And yes, if you ask me how we have been going about at Mahindra and Mahindra Automotive and Farm Sector, it's very critical for us to understand that how do we as a business look at the social equity in and around our businesses, and how do we look into the nation building aspect. So that led us to evaluate and understand the community around us and see to it that there are multiple opportunities to work with the community for their sustainable development. And looking at the demographic dividend which the country offers, we identified and prioritized focus areas within the CSR work which we are doing to see that everything under the sky may or may not be possible, but we should do some focused initiatives where we can see transformational changes. So, in that regard, we looked at water conservation, we looked at skilling, we looked at women empowerment very seriously, education obviously goes along with it, and road safety. Being an automotive company, we understand that this is very critical for us. In skilling piece, we were also looked at the farming community as a very critical community for us. So promoting farm mechanization and farm-based livelihood for farmers becomes equally important for us. So we went about the element of understanding that what we can contribute in terms of our core competencies. So that's where the skilling piece, farm mechanization, and road safety comes into the picture. But at the same time, looking at the remoteness of our geographies where we are present, what we are doing. In addition to this, at a group level, Nani Kali is one of the flagship initiatives which we do, which we have dedicated to the nation, which is inspired by the thoughts of our chairman, Mr. Anand Mahindra, that this is something that if you educate a girl, the nation can immensely contribute, and this can also add to the GDP as well. So Nani Kali is something which we are doing. And women empowerment is the next piece where we're looking at targeting 1 million women across in the times to come by.
Glad to hear that. Thank you, sir. It is fascinating to hear your perspective on the same. Next, Mahindra and Mahindra Auto Farm Division Foundation adopts a comprehensive 360-degree approach to its CSR initiative, categorized into various thematic areas, as you already mentioned: education, sustainable livelihoods, women empowerment, environment, and community asset creation. As a part of your commitment to women's empowerment, you are actively transforming their lives through women empowerment initiatives. Could you please elaborate on the inception of the various women empowering livelihoods and skill development program, including the underlying philosophy driving its creation? Additionally, we are interested in learning more about Mahindra's broader skill development programs aimed at promoting sustainable livelihoods within communities, particularly in terms of economic independence and leadership opportunities.
Okay, I'll come to the women empowerment piece and then go on. In the women empowerment piece, we look at two aspects. One is domain skilling and one is the soft skilling piece. I'll come to the domain skilling subsequently. But if you look at soft skilling, we're looking at the 1 million women which we're looking at is fundamentally targeting the college girls who are on the cusp of moving out of the college and would be seeking opportunities in terms of jobs and various other things. So under this initiative, what the company has envisaged on is creating a phygital kind of a platform, which will create a match for between the job seekers and the job givers. This will be one of its kind because it will be the first women centric digital platform which is going to get created. We have that in mind that yes, if technology can play a role of an enabler, then going forward, many such things can happen. And the group is playing a lot of focus on this. And in the domain skilling part, we look at various kind of skills where we are trying to bring in women, including the skills which are not heard of where women participation has been so far. So if you look at various kind of automotive skills, EV skills, or farm mechanization skills, so these are predominantly has been a male passion, but we are challenging those notions. So if you look at tractors driving or tractor skilling for that matter, 38% of our total people trained are women today. So when we started a few years back, we fundamentally felt why can't we shift the needle and look at women also and doing that. And I'm glad to share that this journey has started with a lot of promising results, and we see a lot of many such success stories happen in terms of EV skilling and other things. Also, we are pushing hard to look at these things that it's not it's gender neutral. Anybody and everybody can be skilled and can be trained to take things forward. And not only that, these opportunities will open up for the entire industry to look at this particular thing in the skilling piece. So that's where the domain skilling comes in, and that's where we look at how. And most importantly, it's not about our money muscle. What we bring onto the table is that in the automotive sector, if you say we have got competent, trained, qualified people who can add a lot of value into the skilling module, skilling process. So we build in the kind of a curriculum jointly working with the not-for-profit agencies and the various other stakeholders concerned to create a kind of a curriculum which is more contemporary, industry-based, industry meeting the industry requirements, which enables to act as a bridge course against the base course which any student would be undertaking in ITI or in any skill sector. So these are certain things which we are doing, particularly in the women empowerment piece. Getting onto these skill other pieces, what we have talked about, we have created frameworks along all these 4 or 5 pillars of our CSR focus areas, and want to be very specific on what we do on the other part of it. And that's why we felt that it's not just about the aspiration is not about just being technically qualified. There are also various service sector skilling requirements in and around of our business operations and beyond also. So we have also factored in those kind of service skill requirements of the community, and this is something which we have learned over a period of time and also realized that yes, there are very good organizations which we work with and they have been jointly able to deliver programs, and we just don't train people but post training we also look at the placement assistance, and amidst a lot of challenges we've been able to get people onboarded and people look forward to such kind of opportunities, and also self-employment opportunities where some people would go and start their own micro enterprise. So this is how journey has been, and is even from a livelihood perspective, if it's not about skilling, but if you help people on farm-based livelihood opportunities and enable them to get linked to banks in terms of seeking uh,
Yeah.
the resources required to start their own micro enterprise, that also has been quite an encouraging learning for us in this journey. And the community has always been ready to stand up on their feet, and they would have need a catalyst to play that role for them. And we are happy playing that catalyst at Mahindra and Mahindra Auto and Farm Sector. Water being a critical resource, which we all know globally, so we are very much focused on the water harvesting, water conservation efforts in and around our businesses in a way to address the climate risks, which is around, and we want to see that we are well prepared in terms of enabling the community to be resilient, to have water access, and for that, community participation is also being important. Many of the thought leaders I interact with have always told me that we need to look at not just the civil engineering part of water conservation and water harvesting, but also the social engineering part. So the water user committee, the water development committees of the villages are part of this entire ecosystem for offering end-to-end solution in owning this project, so that it can sustain on its own, and it makes meaningful effort on their part that they continue to do it year on year basis. So these are certain things which we are doing with the sustainability element very much embedded, and making sure that the communities around which we work with become climate resilient, and so does farm sector becomes climate resilient.
Thank you for sharing that. We'll be covering climate resilience questions in our further sections, though. Indeed, it is very interesting. Uh, my next question, before I set up the context here, as the head of corporate social responsibility at Mahindra and Mahindra Auto Farm Sector, you are pivotal in aligning the company's initiative with its vision, with a focus on automotive and farm equipment. Mahindra addresses social and environmental issues through its CSR programs. Given the rising concerns about the climate change, you are committed to sustainability, road safety, and community enrichment. Additionally, the projects that you have are also aimed to support local communities and enhance livelihoods. On the same note, Mahindra is making significant contributions to farm based livelihoods. Could you please share the strategies for enhancing climate resilience and sustainable agricultural practices, particularly in water conservation, as you already mentioned before? Additionally, how does this align with your broader vision of other enabling initiatives?
Prerna is a flagship initiative at Auto and Farm Sector, which we drive keeping the women farmers in mind. See, at the end of the day, we realize that the amount of effort which the country has noticed in terms of the contribution of women to the farm sector has gone on unnoticed in terms of the economic value to it. So, Prerna was an initiative which was thought that keeping the women farmers in mind, that how you enable them to become champions of the sector, and how their contribution also needs to be valued. So, a lot of agri-based and farm-based initiatives have been undertaken with organizations who have the wherewithal, expertise, and other things. And we have focused fundamentally on water conservation, as we already said. Crop diversification is one of them, promoting organic farming, and at the same time, also introducing the farming community to the various new technologies and techniques of going about things. Traditionally, the farmer is the kind of a entity within the society community, I would say, in the society, who take a lot of risks. We realize that if this community has the tenacity to take risks, then why can't they also be introduced to technology so that they can experiment and over a period of time realize that the returns on their effort, that they can make a difference. So that has been very encouraging for us to see that yes, whenever whenever they get to see that this is something which is happening, which has potential, they initially, not many would come forward, but then after the first year of the results, the second year, third year creates a rippling effect. And that's where more and more farmers come in and try to understand. We have got an app called Krishi, which is, and it's also having a YouTube page. Glad to share that this particular YouTube app of Krishi provides all information which a farmer can aspire for across multiple themes, topics. This definitely gives a kind of a technology based, well researched kind of information which is available for a farmer, and that too in multiple languages. This also gives them that yes, what they need to do, how they need to go about it. Yes, we do appreciate, understand that traditional knowledge does have its own value, and we respect it. But at the same time, we believe that more yield per land, per acreage is something India needs to move forward, and we are very much committed to that. And that's where we always say in farm equipment sector that enriching lives is something which we look at, and this kind of something is nothing short of doing a real kind of a social service towards the society, and particularly the farming community. So in this manner, making the farming community climate resilient, encouraging them to conserve water, and making, and for that not only we look beyond our fence, but we also look within our fence. How can we become more efficient in our water consumption practices? And many of our plants, almost all, most of our plants are water positive because of the technology and various practices put in place in Mahindra and Mahindra. And the journey continues. At as a group level, overall, we are water positive. So this journey definitely is a challenge for that. Yes, we not only look at mitigating, offsetting, but also becoming a pioneer in ensuring that water conservation is something which is very close to us, integral to our business as well as the social objectives.
As we all know, education is a powerful tool that can transform lives, especially for women and young girls. It not only empowers them to break the cycle of poverty, but also enables them to contribute meaningfully to their communities and the economy. For underprivileged girls, the barriers to education are often higher due to socioeconomic challenges, cultural norms, and limited access to resources. In light of Mahindra and Mahindra Auto Farm sector significant contributions to the field of education, could you please elaborate on the various approaches that the company has adopted to bridge the educational gap for underprivileged girls? Specifically, how does Mahindra provide academic support, resources, and mentorship to help these girls pursue their academic dreams and secure a brighter future? Additionally, how has Mahindra adopted its programs to ensure continued access to quality education in the face of challenges such as recent pandemic?
Nanhi Kali is a flagship program of Mahindra and Mahindra, which is dedicated to girl child education, and it's been more than several decades that this program has been running. It has seen various phases, various improvements, orbit shifting. The key component which one looks at is fundamentally understanding that how can we leverage technology, how can we bring in change agents within the community in firstly mainstreaming girls to the education system, secondly providing remedial coaching and various other required support, so that if a child makes it to the school, stays in the school and passes out of the school, it's one of the longest standing commitment of a corporate in a particular sector, which has been running for decades and decades, I could think of. And this has been possible fundamentally because of the vision laid down by Group Chairman Mr. Anand Mahindra and late Shri Keshav Mahindra Saab, and navigated very strongly by the Group CSR Chief Ms. Sheetal Mehta. Today, we don't say Nanhi Kali is Mahindra and Mahindra's program. It has matured to an extent that we call it as a national program, because more than 7,000 individual and institutional uh, donors are today supporting this program. So, and more than roughly 1.5 lakh, 2 lakh girls being covered as a part of this program. So today we see that Nanhi Gali belongs to the nation. We don't call it Mahindra as Nanhi Gali.
Exactly. So yeah.
We call it India's Nanhi Gali. And this wouldn't have been this. The big learning which I would say in this program is that if you stay invested in one program and take it to the finish line and still continue at it. See, education is something that, yes, there is a time period. A child gets into a school, gets out of a school from 10th, it's 10 years of life. Then the moment they are out there is always a new batch of girls coming into that program and taking it and getting into the school. So sometimes people would have what's the sustainability plan? See, fundamentally, sustainability doesn't necessarily mean every time you're coming out of a program. Sustainability always believes that you get more people involved as a part of this journey, part of this mission, and take this thing forward. And I think this group has been able to demonstrate that immensely through Nannikali program. And women empowerment is the next piece, which is going to go grand in this manner. And over a period of decades, it would be another game changer in the times to come. So what you've seen is that, okay, we have looked at the trajectory not only for girls, but also going forward, we look at higher education support also through various national and overseas scholarships with focus on girls as well. And so what we have realized is that this Nannikali program is something which is some to do more with involvement of technology, involvement of community per se, the parents, and how do you get girls back into the education, make sure that they complete their schooling and will take up further studies and realize that yes, girl educated adds to the GDP of the country. It's that serious a program we look at it and nation building process. So this is an amazing journey to look at. And going forward, we also look at scaling it up further and getting more and more people involved in it as we move forward. And that's always a constant challenge as well as an excitement for us to go big in this particular thing because girl child education is the most important thing a company and the group believes to take things forward.
I couldn't agree more, sir. Nani Gali is definitely a nation's program. And on the sustainability part as well, I agree to you that this is not just about exit plan of the project. It is more about contributing, like, anyways, if we the funding stops, how it goes on. So it's not about that. I agree to you, sir. Moving forward, CSR is preparing a compendium of aspirations, envisioning India and its social development sector at its 100 years of independence. So, my question would be pertaining to the social development sector, what would India of 2047 would look like according to your vision and aspirations?
2047 is almost round the corner. If you see, they completed 75 years and
Yeah.
we have one quarter left. If I have to understand where we should see ourselves in 2047, fundamentally, yes, education happens to be a major role to play with in terms of quality education for both boys and girls. Second, and the most important thing which I would see is that, yes, wherever we see water as a challenge, water stress geographies, that's where we need to seriously focus and make sure that India is resilient towards meeting these such kind of challenges and is already working today from a sustainability point of view. There are many such things, water, energy, various other things, but for me, what touches the masses most is the water piece. So every manufacturing industry in itself must look at water as a critical and contribute towards it. And we continue, the corporates and the business will continue to be one of the key stakeholders in this journey of making India a developed nation, definitely, and we as we move forward. And CSR is one of the amazing opportunities which we see in our country where all stakeholders can come together. So there is always a potential that key stakeholders come together more often and engage and pool in resources to make things happen. The industry needs to be looked just beyond the funds capacity. They have a lot of core competencies to offer, and that should be something which other stakeholders may want to look at. And many things are happening in this already, and I'm sure that should happen and should be able to contribute. And lastly, yes, the uh, dividend in terms of which the country enjoys because of the demography. So skilling definitely will play a main role, and the more women involved in it, the better. If we are talking of 1 million women in Mahindra for women empowerment, we still feel that this number is achievable, but yes, there's lots more to be done. So in the skilling piece, if you look at that takes care of the livelihood piece. So if I have to look at people, planet, and the other things which we call place. So the people part is taken care of by the skilling piece. If you see the planet part is taken care of through the water piece, and place part definitely would be taken because we make the world a better place for the girl child to be born and live in. Then obviously we can't do any better service to the society and world at large. So that's how I feel that 2047 is very, very promising for this nation to leap in, and we have made a lot of strides in the past, and the country is very much poised to be there.
Thank you very much, sir, for that insightful, invaluable your thoughts. And personally, it feels great and immense to interact with you as you particularly focus and delve into women empowerment and girl education. Thank you very much, sir. My last question to you would be, what advice would you offer to the younger generation, especially those who aspire to make a positive impact on the world? Additionally, could you recommend a few books for young readers that might inspire and guide them on their journey of life?
Young minds are very inquisitive and they have a lot of questions. This is a very promising and appreciative trend which I see among young minds. In my times, many times asking questions was not really encouraged, but today I see that's being encouraged and the young minds are asking questions. So while asking questions is fine, I will also encourage them to find answers also, because we live in a world of VUCA, which is volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. So many times we may not have answers. We have to find answers. We at Mahindra promote employee volunteering in a big way. So across all our locations, all employees come forward and try to commit several hours of work for a social cause. I think youth today can become a force in terms of this kind of a volunteering piece and form citizen associations, come together for good causes, which helps in nation building and do it themselves. If we wait for somebody or the other to come and solve a crisis or a problem, we can still wait, or we can be a part of the solution. There are many young brigade groups I am associated with who are doing commendable job. Besides studying, they are also forming social groups and trying to work for the society at large. And I think many such groups needs to come forward in colleges, and that's where they can really make a difference. And that will contribute to the 2047 Viksit Bharat's vision of Honorable Prime Minister.
Thank you very much, sir. This is indeed an inspiration for me as well. As we near the end of today's session, I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude for your time and contributions. Thank you very much, sir. I'll be like quitting this session. Our guest today was Mr. Avilash Dwivedi, Head of Corporate Social Responsibility at Mahindra and Mahindra, Auto Farm Sector. He shared the impact of his work on various social and environmental causes. We hope you enjoyed the conversation and learned something new from Mr. Dwivedi. Don't forget to join us again next week for the upcoming episode of Impact Talks, where we continue to share inspiring stories of individuals and organizations that are actively shaping the world for better. Until then, this is Gunjan bidding you farewell, wishing you a fantastic day.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you very much, sir.